This is not a teaching. This is a remembrance. And remembrance will always offend what made you forget. If you are addicted to comfort, allergic to confrontation, or trying to baptize your fear as wisdom, this episode will feel like violence. Because what you call discipline might just be the residue of a slave. And what you call obedience might just be your great grandfather's fear wearing new clothes. Now, I didn't realize it at first how much of what I called wisdom was actually programming. How much of what I called strategy was survival. How often I dressed up inherited fear and called it foresight. They told me, Jeff, don't take too many risks. Play it safe. Be humble. Be realistic. But nobody ever told me where that came from. Nobody told me that my bloodline learned to obey to eat. That the men before me had to shrink their will to keep their heads. I was never disciplined. I was descended. And the whole time I thought I was building a life, I was still surviving somebody else's war. Let me tell you how the peasant system works with three simple system facts.
Please hold for a very important message.
Here's system fact number one. Survival installs obedience. The moment survival becomes the goal, risk becomes the enemy. And when risk becomes the enemy, God becomes irrelevant. Why? Because God requires faith, and faith is a risk. So generation after generation, men learn to shrink, not because they were cowards, but because they were strategically enslaved. Here's system fact number two. The risk filter was removed, excommunicado, from your bloodline. Over time, the reward for obedience became life itself, which meant death to those who disobeyed. And what happens over hundreds of years? The descendants don't just obey, they call their risk aversion virtue. They build economies, religions, even families around safety. And they forget that the image of God they carry is a creator, not a survivor. Here's system fact number three. Modern systems preserve peasant programming. What did they give you in exchange? Comfort, stimulation, content. Enough pleasure to keep you tame, but not enough vision to make you dangerous. It's the same peasant system with a better user interface. Yeah, those are the facts. That's the price your ancestors paid to survive. Here's what it costs you now to reclaim your throne. Start with some real questions. Ask yourself this. When was the last time you made a decision without consulting fear? When was the last time you felt peace without needing a plan? When was the last time you heard God clearly without asking for proof first? That's the repair. That's how we resurrect the bloodline. We don't just take risks. We restore risk as sacred. We don't just move bold, we honor the version of God that asks us to walk on water. Because resurrection doesn't just mean life after death, it means life after programming. It means risk after safety. It means authority after obedience. So let me pray to God, the creator, the infinite, to resurrect the man I was before obedience became survival, before I was trained to shrink, before I feared my own fire. I don't want a safe life. I want a sanctified one. I remember now, I am not a peasant. I am not a planner. I am not a pawn. I am the proof of a God who still risks it all on love. And I will move like it. You own it or be owned by it. You either run the system or the system runs you. Change your mind, change your life. I am who I say I am. Do you and stay rich.